incredible! This is incredible! Yes!
In 2016, scientists at Queen Mary University in London did something strange. They gave bees a pleasant surprise. They trained the bees to associate one color with a sugar reward and another color with no reward at all. And then, part-way through the experiment, they handed out unexpected sugar, completely outside the pattern the bees had learned. What happened next was recorded and published in the journal Science. The bees that received the unexpected bonus started approaching ambiguous stimuli faster, as if they had become optimistic. And when researchers chemically blocked dopamine in their brains, that effect disappeared completely. An insect feels something resembling happiness. The question that opens up is an uncomfortable one. If an insect can function perfectly well without needing a constant positive emotional state, why can't you? Let's take this slowly, because this story has more layers than it looks. First, it's worth understanding something specific about ants, who are close relatives of those bees studied in London. They do have dopamine circulating through their nervous system, yes. But its main function in them isn't to generate an ongoing state of well-being that needs to be chased. It's to signal, at the exact moment something happens, whether that event was better or worse than expected. It's a prediction error signal. Short, functional, and it passes. The ant doesn't carry that signal around for the rest of the day trying to recreate the feeling. She uses the information to adjust future behavior, and moves on. As far as science can observe, there's no mechanism in her that produces suffering from not being happy enough between one event and the next. Here's the first real twist. The problem isn't that ants don't feel anything. It's that they lack what scientists call a background affective state, that ongoing baseline mood that, in you, exists even when nothing special is happening, and that can stay low, irritable, anxious, or empty for days or weeks with no specific triggering event at all. That background state, in humans, is regulated by far more complex circuitry, involving the prefrontal cortex, the limbic system, and a constant evaluative network running assessments on your own past and future. Ants simply don't have the neural hardware to sustain that kind of continuous evaluation of their own existence. And that's exactly why they don't have the problem that comes bundled with that hardware either. Because here's the second twist, and this one actually stings. The capacity to feel deep, lasting, meaningful well-being, what you call happiness, is the very same biological system that lets you anticipate the future, regret the past, compare your life to other people's, and suffer over things that haven't even happened yet. These aren't two separate systems, one good and one bad. It's the same system. The prefrontal cortex that lets you plan a life with purpose is the same one that lets you ruminate over a mistake from 5 years ago at 3 in the morning. You can't have one without risking the other. The ant has neither. She traded away the absence of existential suffering for the absence of any existential meaning at all. That completely changes the question this video opened with. It's not that ants are wiser for not needing happiness. It's that they paid a price most people never even recognize as a price. They don't need happiness because they also lack the capacity to suffer from its absence, to search for meaning, to want something better than the immediate present. Human happiness, unstable and hard to hold onto as it is the unavoidable side effect of having a mind capable of imagining how things could be different. Research in evolutionary psychology, including work by psychologist Martin Seligman on what he calls prospection, the human capacity to simulate hypothetical futures, suggests that this constant simulation is, at the same time, the source of our greatest planning ability and our greatest source of anxiety. You suffer anticipating things that will never happen. But it's that exact same capacity that lets you avoid real dangers before they happen, build a life plan, and care for someone you love even when they're nowhere near you. An ant will never suffer from anticipation. But she will also never manage to love someone who isn't right there in front of her, in that exact instant. So maybe the real question isn't why ants don't need happiness. It's, would you trade your capacity to suffer, genuinely, deeply, sometimes for no apparent reason at all, for the total absence of that pain, knowing that, along with it, you'd have to give up everything that makes happiness worth having when it finally shows up? Most people, when actually confronted with that question, hesitate. Because deep down, nobody wants to be an ant. We want to feel everything, including the parts that hurt. The problem was never feeling too much. The problem is not knowing what to do with it when it happens. And that's exactly what I pinned in the first comment. Something that ties directly into handling that emotional weight a little better. The weight that only we, as humans, were biologically built to carry. Worth a look before you head out of this video.